descending and ascending spiritual masters. In our country, in India, we've heard about avatars and Raj Rishis, Raj Munis, and some of them are like we've heard of as Yog Vashisht or Vishwamitra. Then we have Ram, Krishna, Buddha. Now avatars, and people do not realize it, but avatars descend from the highest plane of spiritual consciousness, frequently right next to where God is, and they descend on earth to rebalance the disruption that happens when human beings stray from the divine will. And so people think that the descending masters descend on earth to teach human beings. No, that is an aside. By the way, since they are here, they will also teach human beings who are ready to learn. And nobody teaches descending masters. They are all self-taught. Why? Because the level of their being, their spirituality is so high that average people are not at that level at all. And since there are the priests who are there, and priests usually only know scriptures. Like parrots, they can repeat the scriptures, but it doesn't mean that they really understand what it is. And so when it comes to knowing the source of creation, it is their own soul that takes charge of the human mind at some point in time. So in case of Buddha, when his mind was disturbed, he left his family and he went from one teacher to another teacher, and none of them could really satisfy him, till he ended up in a forest where he saw 5 monks who then told him that, well, the reason why we are all suffering is because we are all sinners, and in order to purify ourselves, we need to fast. And Buddha was so strong when it came to his fasting that they immediately made him their guru. But then when he reached the point of death and asked them for a glass of water, they all upped and left. But then he survived through other force of circumstances, and then he was able to break through his human mind at the point of death almost. And when he realized the cause of human suffering and how to end it, he didn't want to teach it to anybody. Because he asked himself, he says, who's going to really be able to do this? I mean, it's so very hard. But then Brahma Sampati appealed to him and said that there are a few people right on the borderline, 4 or 5, they will benefit from your teachings. So in order to teach those people, Buddha taught for 40 years. But the main purpose was not to teach human beings the Dhamma. The main purpose was to establish the balance between truth and untruth in manifestation. Now, ascending masters are people who grow to become spiritual masters by following the teachings of the descending masters. So Krishna was a descending master. Nobody taught him anything. He was self-taught. So also Ram. So also Zarathustra and Moses, Rasul Muhammad. These are all descending masters. And through their teachings, people become masters. So amongst the Muslims, you have people like Shamsa Tabrizi, and Shamsa Tabrizi's disciple was Jalaluddin Rumi, and Jalaluddin Rumi also had become a great spiritual master through the teachings of Muhammad. And through the teachings of Buddha, you have many bodhisattvas who have grown. Through the teachings of Krishna, you have the Adi Shankaracharya and other great beings who have grown through the teachings of Krishna, as well as Ram, through the teachings of Vedas and Vedanta. So ascending masters grow through the teachings of descending masters. And pioneers in the physical realm, there's a reflection. Always remember that whatever is in the invisible is reflected in the visible. So in the physical terms, pioneers who create something new, they are reflections of descending masters. So nobody taught the Wright brothers how to build an airplane. They were self-taught. Not only did they have to teach them to build an airplane, but they had to teach themselves how to fly. And after they did that, they were able to teach other people to fly. So others learned through them, but nobody taught them. Same thing with Igor Sikorsky. Nobody taught him to build a helicopter. He had to teach himself how to fly the helicopter. Then others have learned from him. Same thing when it comes to the automobile. Same thing when it comes to the Polaroid camera was developed by Sir Edwin Land. When he went to college, his professors realized that he knew far more than them when it came to the polarization of light. So these are pioneers. Pioneers are always self-taught. So they are reflections in the physical realm of descending masters. So nobody teaches descending masters. They are the highest of the high. But you can grow to become masters through the teachings of the descending masters.